Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Swap Convention with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. We've hit all of this week's Marvel books, as well as a few from last week. Now it's time to move on to this week's DC books. Again, including a few from last week. And we'll kick things off with the holdover from last week. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths number 7, wrapping up the event. Where we had left off, well, it was, of course, the final battle. The Justice League had returned, and while Pariah had been destroyed, his corruption was still affecting his herald, as it were. And Deathstroke had managed to spread that corruption to Nightwing as well as Ravager. So Nightwing is in the dark, trying to, keep himself, so to speak, while the assembled heroes are trying to fight the now insanely powerful Deathstroke. And Slade, as he's classically remembered, as he appeared in the Wolfman Perez run of Titans, appears to Nightwing, and they talk. And they fight, but Damian brings through his Justice League Incarnate. Black Adam shares his power with the assembled heroes. And Flash and Kid Flash managed to push away, all the Flashes really managed to get the darkness, expunge it stop it from taking over the multiverse, while also getting a boost from Dr. Light, stabilizing the multiverse. Black Adam and Deathstroke duke it out, and Adam explains that, he was wrong about the younger heroes, and he would die, not just die for them, but die with them. But Dick manages to pull himself out of everything and use the dark chains to attack Deathstroke. And Deathstroke is expunged of darkness. Justice League Incarnate keeps a watchful eye on the multiverse. Dr. Light is exploring her connections to the multiverse. Families were reunited. The JSA made their return. Titan's Tower was rebuilt, and there was a celebration. Jim Korg is once again bonded with the Spectre, and has restored quintessence. Roy and Dinah are looking for Ollie. Deathstroke, well, Slade's body was ravaged by the darkness when it was purged. And when it was purged, it stripped him of the serum that gave him his powers to begin with. Alive but in constant pain, there are machines that hold it off as best they can while they decide what to do with him. However, someone steps in and does something to one of the machines, basically increasing the pain that Slade's feeling. And the Great Darkness itself, it continues to rest, quiet and unconcerned. Barry and Wallace go to check out the multiverse. There's cleanup going on at the Hall of Justice. Adam and the Superman's talk, with Adam complimenting John, saying that at least John didn't die like Clark did. Nightwing and Batman talk, with Nightwing talking about how that the candlelight from the importance of the candlelight from the candle that when he swore his oath to Batman. With Batman explaining that his light was always Dick. And they've also, for the moment, there is no Justice League. And after everything they've been through the League, felt that it was time to rethink the Justice League. It needs more than just new members. It needs to find a new mission, a new legacy. Batman, if anyone's going to lead all of them into the future, it's going to be Nightwing. But Dick's got some ideas. We have an epilogue sometime later. Showing elements of Batman's battle with Failsafe, the Demon Neja, the corrupting Robin, and a shadowy figure talking to a bunch of screens. That superheroes are a danger to the planet, and that something must be done. The shadow figure being Amanda Waller, basically saying that it's really refused to follow their directives. Well, they are to be imprisoned. And yes, Waller had herself a squad. 2 peacemakers. There appears to be a composite of Batman, Superman, and a lantern of some type. Yeah, it's something. But she's first given the green light to do what she feels. She utilizes every resource to fully eradicate metahumans from the world. And that is where the series ends. Okay. So, apparently we've got Stormwatch. It's going to be kind of keeping an eye on, maybe kind of being a bit of a counterpoint to the other hero, the traditional DC teams, and now a new squad. Oh boy. Moving on to our next book, we've got Batman Superman World's Finest number 10. And oh boy, was this a doozy of an issue. Now, first off, let me just say I love this cover with its 80s Superman Batman movie homage art. Where we left off, however, the Joker had kidnapped Kid Thunder. And to say the least, Superman was pissed. So Jokers want to know who Superman and Batman really are. But Kid Thunder doesn't know. And he's torturing him constantly. Superman, Batman, the Titans, they're all turning Gotham upside down trying to find Joker. Even Gordon's got the GCPD on high alert. At the Key Safe House, they finally find a clue. Nearly every bit of equipment had the serial number and identifying marks sanded off, or filed off. Almost. An item from LexCorp is found. Do some cross-referencing. They find the safe house, which is filled with doors. And so they start checking of course, they start checking the various doors. The Key explains his origin to Kid Thunder, how he was a gifted child, but he was always thought to be slow-witted. But he was really just frustrated. He heard the whole thing about how humans only use 10% of their brain, and so he turned to psychotropic drugs in an attempt to unlock what was unused, and he discovered that that's not the case. It's just something that self-help quacks and grifters use to get their marks to believe that they're sitting upon some explosion of personal potential just waiting to be unlocked, as long as they keep shoveling money. But he did basically he made himself he chemically altered his brain and body over time to shed the chains of self-consciousness. Unbound by morality, by ego and self-image, his brain expands to make new connections, insights that can transform the world. That becomes the secret of his genius. The tragedy of it is it hungers. The Joker gets, as promised, the Key, some of his external psychotropics, once Joker gets what he wants. But he keeps moving the goalposts. But Kid Thunder explains that ends up telling the Key that he's not even from this Earth, he's from another Earth. And the Key realizes he may have just been presented with the key to the multiverse. So, while our heroes try to check as many doors as possible, Batman points out that the Joker wears gloves, the Key does not. And the two of them only used one door, so they find the handle with the Key's fingerprints. And end up in Joker's hideout, where Joker is beating Kid Thunder with a crowbar. You gotta go with the classics, you know? But some giant monster's been released. Joker attempts to escape. Kid Thunder gives chase. The monster is returned to its where it came from, and Kid Thunder stopped from killing Joker, but he swears that he will kill the Joker, be it tomorrow or 20 years from now. And the issue ends with Magog standing over the Joker, saying, "I will kill you." So, turns out that at least this arc is set in the past of Earth 22, which works because Earth 22 is the Earth that Kingdom Come takes place on. Mark Waid wrote Kingdom Come. So normally I might roll my eyes, oh, we're adding to a classic, but no. If the original writer wants to add something to it, hey, go for it. And yeah, we basically just got Magog's origin. That said, there's still at least one more issue to the story arc. So yeah, but yeah, that was kind of a surprise. Moving on to our next book, we've got Blue Beetle Graduation Day number 2. Where we left off, apparently what are they called? The Reach was planning an invasion of the Earth. The Scarab was acting a bit weird for Jaime, and Superman kind of basically just decided that the heroes had decided to bench Jaime for the time being. And also he graduated high school. There appeared to be a new Beetle-themed metahuman running around. And Jaime is in Mexico, I believe it is living with his aunt and working at her diner in Palmera City, which apparently has a Court Industries office. So he sends a video message to his friends, showing off some of the town. But Dynasty's attacks. That's the new insect-themed metahuman, armored metahuman, I should say. And dukes it out with her, saving some of the scientists from Cord Industries. But then the Scarab shuts off his armor. And Blue Beetle, Ted Cord, shows up and subdues Dynasties. And apparently his sister basically running the company. Ted's still the face of it. Plus they're on-site superhero. But Dynasty's basically de-armors, introducing herself as Shamara, and say that her serum is named Omex. But Ted has set up an internship for Jaime so that he can come and go in quarters as he pleases. It's sadly unpaid, though. When he returns home, he sees his aunt, but and he's just wondering, a friend is waiting for him out back. Starfire, who informs the planet is preparing for a war, and he's the only one who can stop it. And that is where the issue ends. This was also a holdover from last week, and so far I'm digging we're 2 issues in, but I like where it's going. I haven't been as plugged in with Jaime as I have with various others. I've kind of picked up bits and pieces just from other appearances of his since the early days of his initial 1 year later run after Infinite Crisis. So, yeah. Moving on to our next book, we've got Stargirl, The Lost Children, number 2. Where we left off, Stargirl and Green Arrow's sister Emiko were investigating a bunch of missing sidekicks. So they check out the Arrow Cave, which when Stargirl sees it, basically explains to Emiko that her brother, Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, really wanted to be Batman, didn't he? But there are statues of the 7 soldiers, including some of the missing sidekicks. And we find out that Emiko has some unresolved issues with the fact that she was kidnapped as a baby and trained on Starfish Island, and apparently Oliver had a map, and well, it hurts that no one ever came for her. The thing of it is, no one knew about her to come for her, and she acknowledges that. Sometimes it hurts. She doesn't want to bring it to Ollie because she's afraid she's worried about him feeling bad about it. But they got him, so they head to what's known as the Diablo Triangle in, well, Green Arrow's boat, which they appropriate. Then they're continuing to look into the missing sidekicks and wonders how many have disappeared over the years and no one even realized it. But Airwave shows up. Not present, but transmitting, trying to warn her off, but the boat explodes, and while underwater for a moment, Stargirl starts figuring out why they're there. Turns out Stargirl is named her staff, Cosmo, and so they arrive at the island. On getting there, Stargirl notices there's something off about the beach. It's not. It's sand, but well, it looks more like it's Miraclo, or at least something similar to it. But someone's watching and sends out a bunch of egg-shaped robots. One of which takes Emiko prisoner, and another tries to take Stargirl prisoner until she's saved by Wing. Apparently, Wing and the other Wing, Cherry Bomb, Airwave, and Mechanical Dog. Well, they've been for decades. Wing has been trying to get off the island and help others get off it, but the dog states that the only way off the enchanted island for the living is death, and that is where the issue ends. There's some odd stuff. I feel like this is really leaning into one of the concepts that was brought up after Dark Knight's Death Metal, the kind of the sliding time scale. That even though that basically Batman has been active since the 40s, but time has moved slower for him, basically, and the same goes for the other heroes too. But at the same time, we get a mention of a trip of Roy and Ollie having taken a trip back to the 40s. Yeah. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Gotham City Year 1, Number 4. Where we left off, Helena Wayne's body had been discovered, and, Richard Wayne was... The Waynes, in general, were not happy about this. It's hit the news, Slam Bradley's been arrested, and the commissioner is handling his interrogation. It's an enhanced form of interrogation. Not many questions get asked. Just punches thrown. But Slam is taken to Wayne Manor, where Richard shatters the glass in his face, and the fight breaks out, and, 15 guys, which, if Slam had fought back during his interrogation, would have been the case. That's a problem. 3 guys, he can do 3. Taking him down and almost making a very veiled threat. Holding a gun on Wayne and his bodyguard, and explaining that he can think of 137 reasons why they should let Slam go. Those 137 reasons: he was a sniper in Korea. 137 is his official kill count. But he gets home, picks the glass out of his face, puts a porterhouse on it. Later, Mrs. Wayne knocks on his door. And yeah, they spend some time together in Slam's bed. But Slam's got somewhere he's got to be late. Tells her she can stay, she can get whichever, it's up to her. But Slam tracks down the commissioner, who's made arrangements with a lady of the night. The idea is they decide on the hotel they're going to meet at, take separate routes, and, the commissioner cuts through an alleyway where he's beaten rather savagely by Slam. Turns out that alleyway would later get a name: Crime Alley. But the beating of the commissioner was never solved, and eventually just kind of let to die. Slam returns home to find Queenie waiting on him, who pulls a gun on him. And she explains that, she didn't know anything about everything, and the baby being found at her uncle's house, but she explained that behind the whole thing is Richard Wayne. And that is where the issue ends. This, yeah, definitely an interesting tale of Gotham's past. And now, moving on to our last book for the moment, we've got Dark Knights of Steel number 9. Been a minute since we had Dark Knights of Steel, I think. Maybe it's a couple months, but where we left off, the combined armies of the Amazons and the Kingdom of Storms had arrived at the L's castle, where Lara had gone out to meet them, and promptly killed Queen Hippolyta. Meanwhile, Prince Cal had been taken prisoner by the Amazons, and, well, Bruce, having been betrayed by by his closest friend, who he has since learned is his half brother, was elsewhere on the Kent farm. So, in Amazonia, a young woman shows up to free Cal. Cassandra, she's one of the Robins, and she gives Cal the lasso of truth. The battle is joined at the Castle of El, and as Superman arrives, he sees his mother, who promptly punches him to the ground. And the battle is resumed, with now Queen Diana ordering the Amazons to attack, with General Waller leading her forces also in an attack. The Green Man then shows up, blasting from the skies. And a dragon erupts from the ground. Dragon being ridden by Bruce. Cal's glad to see Bruce, but Bruce pulls a sword on him saying that they need to talk, calling him brother, which is news to Cal. Lois finds Constantine and says, "You've been manipulated." And yeah, Constantine started to get the idea that yes, he has been conned. In the L dungeons, Lara is going through removing threats to her people, starting with King Shark, whom she removes with heat vision. Oliver Queen suggests that Dinah use her blow out the wall. They end up in the armory, and, well, Oliver's an archer who's lost an arm. So she's going to use a crossbow, which is actually a very elegant solution. However, when she blows a hole in the wall, well, yeah, it's a whole war. And then Queen Lara shows up and takes down Queen Lara. The Green Man's ring tells him to flee. And Alfred orders all archers to use fire. And the Queen Lara that killed King Shark and Queen Hippolyta is revealed to be a white Martian. But that's not the only revelation. Where Alfred reveals that the war he fought in was not fought on this earth, as he himself is a green Martian. presumably of the name John Jones. And that is where the issue ends. You know, this has been just solid from issue 1, but Tom Taylor just finds ways to, up the ante every friggin' issue. I love it. I'm absolutely here for it. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.